That song always puts me in a good mood, Liz.
Well, that's good.
I'm very happy I wrote it.
I'm very happy you wrote it too.
I start every episode of this podcast, I'll go, no, okay.
Yeah.
It can't be too bad.
Yeah.
That song happened.
Well, there's something to be said for, something that speaks directly to you, probably.
I mean, it should speak to me. I wrote it.
Yeah.
It should be like, I get what this guy's going through.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I'm that guy.
Yep.
Anyways, welcome to episode number 68 of the Sounds Like Liberty podcast here on the Launchpad Media. I am Nikki P, here with my lovely wife and co-host Lizzie.
Indeed.
As always. She's always lovely, folks.
I try.
She doesn't, actually. That's the beauty of it. She's just good people.
Wahaha. So, what's shaking today?
Well, we're going to start out. We're going to say, hey, get your asses over to the soundslikeliberty.com page. And if I might shill for myself, why don't you sign up for the Freedom Choir? There's some modest membership levels, and you manage to get actual physical merch. You've got the Married to Liberty segment that we do. We're going to be doing the, what do you call it?
The old year-round tree?
Yeah, year-round tree where me and Lizzie talk about Christmas movies and shit.
Yep. We got a good lineup coming up for that.
We've got the raw interviews.
Yeah, you get all the stuff.
There's a lot of stuff in there. And always adding more.
Yeah.
So,
If you're willing to support us, we want to make it worth your while.
if you don't want to sign up, just go and check out the show notes that Lizzie spends time on. There's so many links there. You're easily going to spend an hour of your day at work just kind of looking through the bullshit that we talk about with our guests.
Yeah, and you can always check us out on Facebook. There's a fun little group discussing things there, and also memeing. There's a lot of memeing in that group.
I do like to meme. Got ourselves a nice little crew.
Mm-hmm.
Nice little crew. So we also have some fun guests coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know who we have coming up, Liz?
Tori Watchell on the show. We've
Is that how you pronounce his name?
I don't know. Sorry if I screwed it up, bro.
That's okay. I'm really just excited about this Halloween thing we did.
Oh.
With the Professor Dexter De La Paz.
Yes, that was a fun episode and a little on the spooky side.
Mr. Dogman Respect. Yeah, Liz is going to have nightmares about Jim Morrison coming in and drugging her
I don't
for
know
the rest
about
of her
all that,
life.
but
I mean, I'm just willing it to be so.
oh, okay, fine.
Make it so.
Zombie Jim Morrison.
No,
Actually,
actual Jim Morrison.
That'd be a great movie.
Zombie Jim Morrison?
Kind of, yeah.
Didn't they kind of isn't that like what Bubba Hotep is?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's on the Elvis, but yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Well, apparently we're going to double mention our plug that we do at the end of the show, which is going to be for the Chip Tooth podcast, I decided.
All right, yeah. So stay tuned for that. And who?
Yeah, this Nick guy and this Finnegan guy on the internet told me to check it out.
Nice.
And so I did.
Nice.
It's pretty fun. They're talking about like playing shows and like overseas and shit. And I'm like, oh man, I never got to play shows overseas.
Not yet.
I don't know. I have to like write music that people actually like.
I suppose.
And if you want to hear the music I do write, why don't you go over to gowiththefrorecords.com. And then you can listen to all the music I write.
It's a fun name for a record company.
Maybe it is. If nothing else, you got to go check out the Ballad of Do Nothing Man over there. Gosh, it's funny. Thank you, Brian McWilliams, for giving me the inspiration. At some point, I'm going to be doing this goth version of a song, or goth song for what's his name, Logic Lad.
Oh, nice.
Like I want to do like a Cure inspired song for him.
That sounds appropriate.
It does sound appropriate. Like Logic Lad is totally like a weird guy.
Yeah.
He would totally get into like some Depeche Mode. Or,
has this like brooding darkness inside.
Orchestral maneuvers in the dark kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So who's our actual guest for the show?
Today we're talking to our favorite video game designer, I guess.
Nice.
Mr. Luke Tatum. Luke is working on the what is it called, Liz?
Dummy Corporation, the game. It is a really fun concept for a video game. It's like combining your fast food service game with your covert ops or government agency sort of game, because you got the dummy corporation covering for the alphabet organization.
So if you're a fan of video games, I'm not really, because none of them are
pocket Mortys.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. That came up in the game. But they're going for the freemium thing with this, which is exciting, which means that
I think they're going for like not the freemium thing, aren't they?
Well, he said kind of the actual,
or is it like
freemium,
a better freemium?
Yeah, like you get the actual good stuff in the game, and then you can add more stuff if you just want more stuff.
Let's give it to Luke. Hashtag better freemium.
There you go.
Go and hashtag that, Luke.
All right.
So we've rambled enough here for an intro. Why don't we get into the actual interview? Let's listen to some music before that happens, though.
All right, right on.
You guys should let me know if you like the music. I've been trying to change things up, see how it works. Play the music where, it's a little unencumbered by my annoying voice. She's lying, folks. Anyways, let's get into it. Welcome back, Mr. Luke Tatum, or Dorothy Gale, as the world would say.
The world would say that.
Well, it's an honor.
Just because the rain stopped doesn't mean he can ruin my amazing joke.
Okay.
Sends me pictures of his yard flooding, and then expects me not to make jokes about it later when it stopped.
Nice.
We'll see what happens, though. It could start again at any moment.
Yep.
Nice. So Liz pulled up a website, and I'm looking at a chicken head. Why did she do that, Luke?
Well,
why are you back on the show? That is the question everyone's dying to know.
Right. So we're making a video game. That's the short answer.
She's exciting. I'm really excited.
Who's we?
We is a team of myself and 5 other libertarian / ANCAPs. So we're making a phone game. It's going to be for iOS and Android.
Okay. Which is your favorite, iOS or Android?
Oh, gosh. I can't stand iPhones and Apple products in general.
Why is that?
Well, truthfully, because I grew up using PC, right? I've been using Windows since 3.1. So I just know it, and it's all very intuitive to me, even when they make bad changes to the operating system and it gets less and less exactly what I want. I still know how it works, and so I can dive in and fix problems and all that. Whereas with a Mac, I'm like, okay, so I want to open this. Now what? It's like I don't have even the simplest chain of events planned out in my mind.
See, you strike me as a Linux guy anyways.
Well, I like Linux, at least some of the visual, versions of it, like Raspbian for the Raspberry Pi and stuff like that. But I'm not like a super uber pro or anything. I just like it.
Nice.
Fancy. Right on. Well, so what inspired you to want to make a video game? How did this come about?
Well, so speaking broadly, I've kind of always been into video games, and I've always valued that.
Why were you into video games? What is the thing about video games? It just seemed like such a time suck for me.
Well, it is a time suck, and there's no question. But to me, like, everyone has a time suck, whether that's like watching national sports or, listening to the radio or like whatever it is. Everybody has something. Some people are just avid readers, and some people read trashy novels, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, everyone does something. So
I don't do anything.
That's a fair point. You were playing Pocket Mortys this morning. Shut your face.
I remember playing Pocket Mortys this morning.
Which is, and I play Plants vs. Zombies is probably the last phone game that I played. But yeah, I feel like phone games are kind of the new, gaming experience.
Well, a lot of them aren't very good, to be fair. There are some good ones, but some are, honestly, they're there to hopefully get you to install them, so you'll watch some ads so that they can make some money.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing.
It's such a downer when you're playing that game and you realize, oh man, this is not going to get good until I buy the pro version, is it?
Just know that Pocket Mortys is the standard to which you have to try and achieve.
You're going to have to link me to this. I'm not familiar.
Possibly the greatest handheld gaming experience ever.
Oh, okay. 5 minutes ago, you don't play from games, and now all of a sudden, you can pick the best experience. Okay. It's based on Rick and Morty, and it's kind of almost like the Pokemon thing. You're collecting them all. That kind of deal.
It's not almost like the Pokemon thing. It is 100% Pokemon Go. Yeah, no, you're just collecting Mortys. There's 300 and some. So there's campaign mode, and then there's battle mode. I only play campaign mode generally. Where you're going out and you're defeating other trainers to collect Mortys.
So
it sounds weird. Okay.
But I'm actually super curious about the idea of this game. I don't know where you guys are in the programming. If you have worked out how the game actually works, but. What kind of game is it? Is it like a kind of like a Sims sort of? You're simulating that whole thing, so you have to build it up type of game, or what?
Well, so it's not terribly similar to the Sims in that you're not really designing your rooms or anything, but I'm calling it a business simulator.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to kind of conceptualize it. It's sort of similar to games like Adventure Capitalist and these other games that they call idle games. So it kind of plays by itself while you're not around. But when you are playing actively, you make upgrades and all that. And so the idea being you run this fast food restaurant and it looks very similar to some other games that are out there. But ours has this secondary component where you're not just running a fast food restaurant. There's a secret elevator inside that takes you underground. And underground, you're running a government base for the CIA. So you not only upgrade your fast food offerings and, get fancier and fancier chicken strips to sell to people, you also divert the money to the CIA. And so you start out with some relatively innocuous activities. And as you get further and further into the game, it's smuggling drugs, smuggling guns, murdering people, MK Ultra, stuff like that.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm intrigued. I'll give you that. That's cool.
You would be. This video game over here.
Oh, man.
You're not playing while we're recording, are you?
No, I am not currently playing.
No, I mean the Morty game.
Oh, no. Nick is barely awake right now.
But yeah, actually, I was just listening to, there was an episode of the Tom Woods show where they talked about MK Ultra. So it's funny that worked its way into the conversation here.
I'm not entirely sold on that guy's vision of MK Ultra either.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He clearly had a very specific angle he was trying to approach things from.
I mean, you got to write a book. You have to have an angle.
I appreciate that. Just saying. God. You crazy people, you.
But no, I do appreciate about the idea of this game that, yeah, whatever you believe about MK Ultra or whatever, you are sort of, I mean, it would be a really cool way to introduce people to that idea of do you really know what, the government is doing, what might be going on behind.
You don't think True Lies was good enough?
Stuff. Well, yeah, but that's a few generations back. Like we saw it, but our kids don't know from Schwarzenegger. They think he's a governor or former governor.
Our kid's never going to believe Schwarzenegger was a governor. So I'm kind of curious as to how does somebody go about starting a video game company? Because it seems daunting. I mean, these are giant multinational corporations now that, build games. So the idea of, hey, I could just build a video game with some friends seems like the peak of arrogance. Only a libertarian could do that.
Ah, very good. Yes. Well, and maybe that's what it is, right? But
hubris, I tell you.
I'm only geographically close to a couple of the people on the team. Our writer's in Alaska. Our lead programmer is in the UK. And so it's been just a lot of networking to try to find the team to make this happen. And, I thought it was very important that everyone kind of be on board with kind of the ideas. We didn't want it to turn into something like, I don't know, I don't really feel comfortable with this game anymore, kind of as we got into it. So there was definitely a screening process with that. But, the idea, it's something I've come back to a few times. A long time ago, I had a group of people together and we were working on a game called Acacia after the acacia tree. And that never really panned out. That was while I was in college. And some people dropped out, some people graduated. It kind of split everybody up and it kind of fell apart. But it's something I've been kind of questing after, so to speak, for a long time. And
why didn't you make that a game? The quest to create a game.
Well, there are a few games like that out there.
Okay.
I haven't played them, but there's like indie game story or indie dev story, something like that, and some other things.
In any of these games, do you go out of your way, say, I don't know, murder anyone?
That took a turn. That's not where I expected that question to go.
I'm thinking of Zoe Quinn in mind. Is anyone going out to murder Zoe Quinn in any of these games?
I don't know who that person is.
Not that I'm aware of. It's possible.
She's an indie game developer that I think essentially started the whole Gamergate thing.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
And most recently, kind of caused a guy to kill himself.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that she's still breathing.
I don't know a lot of details about her, honestly. Like, I sort of more or less tuned that whole thing out.
What's really funny is that like Luke is the game guy, and I'm not, and I probably know more of the inner workings.
Well, yeah, because you are the internet.
I'm the game gossip guy.
Yes, gossip guy, and I think Luke just wants to play games. What games do you actually play when you play?
Well, that's a good question. I play a lot, and not so much anymore now that we've really started working on this. For example, like I really am into turn-based strategy games. So there's a series called Fire Emblem, which has been around forever. There's a new Fire Emblem game out, and I had to promise myself I will not buy it until after we finish fundraising and doing all this, because it'll just suck up all my time. I'll not do the other things that I need to accomplish if I have that game in my life. But I'm into a lot of the classics, and I generally find myself playing older stuff like Half-Life 1, Half-Life 2, stuff from the 90s and the early 2000s are a lot of my favorites. And that's not really unique to games. I watch a lot of old movies and read a lot of old books, but But, first person shooters, turn based strategy, real time strategy. I used to play StarCraft a lot. And if you talk to me about sports, I'd rather watch StarCraft matches, honestly, than any real sport that anyone plays. So.
Yeah, but you don't feel kind of like it's weird that you're watching a sport that Americans can barely participate in?
Oh, you mean because Korea is so much better than us?
Like worlds better?
Yeah, worlds better. Yeah. Well, I've played against a lot of Koreans, and once in a blue moon, you might beat somebody that's like a 4-year-old or something. It's just part of their culture.
Yeah,
man.
I used to have a roommate that was a big StarCraft guy, and he was explaining to me like the actual rankings of the game and like how it works. And it was funny because, in that situation, whereas an American, you're like super happy to get like to the lowest tier. Because like if you can get that, it's like being at the top of the class because you're going to be the best American way down there. Like we said, just you're gonna have peppered in a couple Korean 4-year-olds because the 200,000 people above you are all Korean. Because it's literally the national sport there.
Right on.
I mean, they're teaching it in pre-K or whatever, right? So how do you win?
Isn't part of it also that like they have like technology over there that is specifically geared towards StarCraft?
Well, right. They have two national TV channels that are just StarCraft matches all the time. So, I mean, what are you going to do?
Dang, that's pretty serious.
It's literally their country sport.
That's amazing.
Their national sport.
I mean, we're just now like starting to get our kid into. Well, I've been doing like math video games, like math RPGs and stuff. So she's
awesome.
starting to kind of understand like the controls of stuff. And she played Xbox 360 for the first time like yesterday. So I'm like, yeah, she's gonna be at least somewhat clued into what people are doing these days, because like the last video game I played was probably PS2, maybe.
Oh, okay, so it's been a while.
It's been a while.
I mean, I play like Final Fantasy 1 occasionally.
I still have my original instruction booklet for that game for my NES copy.
Nice.
I love that game. Love it.
I'm still bound and determined to beat it with an all magic party.
It can be done. You can win with all white mages.
All white mages, really?
You can. I've never done it myself because it's painstaking.
I was gonna say I've gotten pretty damn far. Like it's a lot of grinding, so very much grinding.
Right.
With a white mage, a black mage, and 2 red mages.
That sounds solid.
Yeah.
It does, but it's way harder than you'd think it would be. Mostly because the thing that it's very difficult to get past is that you need a fighter that can just absorb hit points.
Oh, okay.
And because while red mages aren't bad fighters, they're just not designed to take punishment like some of the things require.
I see.
And it's not even like battling sometimes. There's a couple places in the game where you literally have to just walk across lava.
I see.
And the stretches are so long, like it's designed that you have to have a character that all they fucking do is absorb take damage.
Jeez.
And it's difficult.
I always loved those games because I would literally like grind up to level like 60 before I did anything.
And that's basically how I had to. The most recent time I've tried to do it, that's how I had to approach it. It was just okay. It was much easier doing that with a mobile game than it was like the actual game where you had to be there.
And then you get to be One Punch Man through like at least a couple of the levels, and then you actually have to start playing.
Speaking of which, what a great game is One Punch Man.
Is that a game?
I have no idea. It's a good TV show though.
Okay.
I'm sure there's probably a game. I'm not into the show, so I don't know anything about it.
You probably would love the show.
I probably would.
Where the heck did you find that?
Oh, it's on Netflix. I thought I was going to hate it. It looks so stupid. But then like you watch it and essentially it's an entire TV show about all these people freaking out about this crazy, amazing superhero guy.
Yeah.
Because he's He's known as One Punch Man because he just needs one punch to kill anything. And and everyone's like, you must have how did you get these powers? And he's like, and he has a speech about 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups every day, never a day off.
What? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no,
so it's not a superpower. It's just he just trains super hard.
No, that's not training very hard at all. That's the point. It's just whatever reason he has this power where he can just beat up things. Yeah, it's pretty intense. Essentially, the point is, and no one believes him that that's how he acquired such power. And some people think he's lying. It's pretty dope. Let's get back into this video game, though. I'm getting sidetracked here.
It's all good.
So tell me a little bit more about your team. How did you meet these people?
Well, I only know one of them in person, so it's all been just kind of online networking. And really, so I had dinner with my 2D artist, Clay Davis, and we were talking about all kinds of unrelated things. But I mentioned that a while back, a few months back, I had sketched out all this stuff for a game, and I thought it would be kind of funny because it's poking fun at everything from KFC to the intelligence community, right? So I just had pages and pages of little, very, very terrible sketches in a notebook, and so I was telling him about that. And he said, well, hey, we should do it. And I can do some art. And so we kind of said, all right, I guess we should do it. And then I started reaching out on Facebook and other platforms to find the other people. So our composer is also in Texas. He's fairly close to us. But then I don't remember if I said this, but our composer, or excuse me, our storyteller, our narrative designer, he's in Alaska. Our programmer's in the UK. So we're kind of just composed of people all across the world. And
I mean, so did you just throw up a bat signal saying, hey, I want to make a video game? Or did you kind of you knew these people from the online world and they said, hey, would you mind doing this? Or, people put you in touch. I'm curious how you collect people for something like this.
Well, it's just like playing Pokemon, right? So you just wander around tall grass.
Okay. I didn't think there was any tall grass in Texas.
You run into them.
It's virtual tall grass. Is there literally a Pokemon style app that you wander around in tall grass? And wouldn't it be funny if that's how businesses did their hiring? They just had this app they signed on to and they wandered around grinding like you do in video games until somebody pops up.
That would be awesome.
And then you have the option to run or hire.
Well, and you have to watch out for the rustling in the grass because that's where your really rare teammates are going to be.
Oh, right.
Really?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. There's a whole nuance to it. But no, seriously. So I reached out in the ANCAP Gamers group, and that's how I found the 3D artist,
okay,
Ryan. He's worked on some big name stuff before. He was one of the visual arts guys on Red Dead Redemption, the first one. So he's got some name recognition and all that a little bit. And then Darian, the storyteller, I knew him already from some libertarian circles, and he's got some stuff on the 0th Position, and he's been on LouRockwell.com and some stuff like that. So really cool guy. And I mentioned it to him way before we really started the project proper. And I thought, well, I'll do the writing because I kind of know what I want to do. But I found this conundrum where normally I'm fine doing creative writing. And I used to write short stories every single day, like when I was in high school, just because I was bored and I wanted to do something funny. So I would give something to people so they could laugh, at the end of the day. But with this project, because I've been sinking my own money into it and it's really like a business venture, I can't be creative at all. So, I write very generic and bland stuff whenever I'm trying to. So I recognized towards the end of the hiring phase that I needed to get someone else that's not quite so invested. So that's kind of how Darian came on board. And then Mark, who is our programmer, I don't even know. I might have just reached out on my friends list in general on Facebook and just made a open post. Hey, is anybody a programmer that wants to help out? I think that's how that one happened.
Nice.
Hey, how's it going? Nikki P here. Want to support the show or just give a big middle finger to Patreon? Consider stopping over to supportSLL.com. Members of the Freedom Choir get access to the private Facebook group and actual physical merch. Want access to the unedited raw interviews as they're recorded way before they're released? It's in there. Is that not enough? And you want membership to Freedom Song 365? It's in there. There's even monthly bonus swag for top tier supporters. So head on over to supportSLL.com. Help Liz and I get to libertarian functions and even just cover the costs of making the show. If I'm not a good enough salesman, how about this?
Support my mom and dad and Sounds Like Liberty. Go to supportsll.com.
You heard her, folks. Join the Freedom Choir at supportsll.com.
Okay. Well, it seems like a pretty awesome team. If you're gonna
I'm
make a
incredibly impressed with everything that they've been doing. If you go to the Indiegogo page and all that, you can see some of the art assets, and there's a snippet of Darian's writing in there, and some really good stuff.
nice. I actually pulled up the Indiegogo page because I wanted to look at it, and it's just the language is really engaging. I like it. It's fun. And I mean, if you're going to talk about a game that you're expecting to be fun, you want to make the talk about the game fun. So,
Right.
I don't know that I buy that. You know I don't like fun, Liz.
yeah, we know. But you'd like to name a fast food item in the game, wouldn't you?
Kind of.
So that's one of the perks that are available out there, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, so it could be just, Nick's special recipe French fries.
Oh, no. You would never be something so generic. It's going to be, steel beams. Something like that.
Steel beans.
Yes.
That sounds good.
Random.
Well, no, because they're going to be the chicken tenders that don't melt in your mouth.
Okay.
They're overcooked and dry.
Sunflower oil can't melt steel beams.
There you
That's
go.
awesome.
Yeah, there you go. See, it's a much better name.
Yeah, there you go.
It reminds me of Bob's Burgers.
Oh, yeah. He always has really complicated names for.
No, they're not complicated.
menu
They're
items.
puns.
Well, yes.
They're all ridiculous
but often
puns.
complicated puns.
Are you a Bob's Burgers fan?
I'm not, but that's not because I watched it and was disappointed. I just haven't.
Yeah. Look, you're an interesting guy.
Thanks.
We me and Luke work on the Freedom Song 365 project together, and Luke is a very interesting guy because some of the blind spots he has, I just don't understand. I don't get it.
Well, I've only been on Earth for a while, right?
There's that.
There's drive time though. What do you do when you're driving?
I listen to mostly libertarian podcasts, although recently I was just re-listening to the great sci-fi classic Dune.
Ooh.
Well, that'll take up another month.
No, I'm done. I finished it on Tuesday, so.
That's a long one, huh?
Dune
It
is
is.
incredibly long. It's also incredibly
Not as long
detailed.
as. Yes, but it's not as long as, like, one of my favorite books is Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson. If you've ever read a Stephenson novel.
Nope.
Those
What's
are
that about?
super, super, super long. Well, so we'll have to trade recommendations, but Snow Crash it's older. I think it was written in the 90s. But all of the naming conventions for like all of modern tech, and I'm only slightly exaggerating, come from this book. The guy that founded Wikipedia, he was basically inspired by reading this book, plus reading, let me think. I think it was Economics in One Lesson. It was one Austrian economist book. I think it's that one. But he cites those two sources as inspiration. When you send an email and it doesn't go through and you get that bounce back that says mailer demon,
Yeah.
the reason it's called a demon is because of this book. And so all of this stuff, and the reason you call an avatar or like your online representation of your character an avatar in an online space, like a World of Warcraft or whatever, that's also because of Snow Crash, and so it's all very interesting. But it's a post-collapse, like near-ish future United States where there's been hyperinflation. The entire U.S. is just this open anarchic world.
So it's a straight-up cypherpunk book.
Well, sort of. But I don't typically like a lot of that genre because it's all just demonizing corporations, cover to cover. And, corporations can be bad, but they're not necessarily. This is kind of more tongue-in-cheek. Like there still is a president of the United States. He just doesn't really control anything. And there's basically like the big power centers are Cosa Nostra Pizza, which is a literal mafia-controlled pizza joint, and
Okay.
and then there's I don't remember, two other big, consumer-oriented businesses that basically control all of what is left of the United States, and it's so fascinating and hilarious and very technical. So he has no qualms about taking a whole chapter to, pontificate about. Actually, the very first chapter of the book is about pizza delivery. And it's just about routes to get from place to place and kind of how that works and the car that the guy is driving. And that's the whole chapter. So it's good stuff. You should check it out. The audiobook is phenomenal.
Who reads it?
Can't think of his name because it's been a few years since I read it, but I can pull it up.
Yeah, sadly, I don't get to all of my audiobooks I'm backed up on.
You're all over podcasts all the time, right? I mean,
I do have an inordinate amount of podcasts, and I have like some backlogs of some big podcasts right now on different topics that I'm interested in. Like I'm going back to the back catalogs, like Indiepreneur. It's a music entrepreneur podcast. I'm a little bit behind on some of the. Let's see, Digital Ambition I'm behind on, and Copywriters Podcast I'm behind on. I gotta catch up. So, yeah, sadly, I'm super balls deep into podcasts. I make a lot of podcasts too, though. So
you do, and it's always incredible because I feel like one episode every 2 weeks for me is a lot. So,
speaking of which, we got to get you up on it, boss. The Liberty Hippie Pod's channel is actually running finally.
Oh, good.
I have to go and it's currently in review again on Apple. After 2 months, it still wasn't up on Apple. Was why I wasn't doing anything with it.
Wow.
And apparently Anchor didn't feel like letting me know. But I went through. I reapplied at Apple, and hopefully it goes through over there. I'm doing that one outside of Anchor. So, but I have started keeping the page together, anyways. So we're getting ourselves ready to go. We were actually did an interview with Rachel Kennerly the other day, and we were talking about it. I'm also trying to get I'm curious. Do you know the Voluntary Vixens girls?
I seem like I've heard the name once, but no, not really.
They're on the Make Liberty Great Again network. But one of them is like a yoga instructor, and like had an episode where she was talking about burning sage, and I'm like, we need to get them on the network.
Sounds like a hippie.
Yeah, that's some real hippie shit. It's authentic.
The narrator for that book, by the way, is Jonathan Davis.
Ooh.
Wow, the guy from Korn?
I don't think so.
I bet it is too.
That would be amazing.
I mean, they're both from the 90s.
He's
right?
quite a range.
I guess.
You could get all the characters in there.
Wouldn't it be awesome if it was fucking, what's his name from, it was Chino Moreno?
I don't know who that is.
He's the frontman for, what's their name there? Deftones.
Okay, right on. So since I've got the both of you together, let me just ask, like, now that we're almost through the year, how does it feel to be so far into the Freedom Song 365.
I don't think you really want the answer to this.
Okay.
I'm curious to hear what Luke's answer is to this, because I know what my answer is.
Like, you guys have done so much good work.
It's awesome. It's good to be. It's good and bad, I guess, to be near to the end. So it's still quite a stretch. It's still a lot of songs to do write-ups for, but it's really cool. And periodically, I'll go in and just do a word count on how much we've written and kind of compare to some, major work of fiction to kind of, give us a milestone. So, I mean, we might be like, I don't remember the last time I was putting that out there, but we might be more like War and Peace type length by the time we get to the end of this.
Wow.
Between the three of us.
That's insane.
That is impressive.
Yeah, mostly I'm just gonna be excited to be done with it. It's been an insane amount of fucking work. And
yeah, you've been doing the bulk of it. We're just writing the write up, so it's kind of all you.
That's whatever. It's just a lot of work. I'm just going to be happy when it's done and I have this website that I can send people to. And I'm still trying to decide exactly in what ways it's going to exist after we finish it. Because I'm still not against releasing some kind of book. I'm just not sure how we would do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I feel like it could make a coffee book.
I think it'd be a hell of a coffee table book.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how, to do that, you'd kind of have to do some visuals, and I don't know how we would do visuals because everything that would be copyrighted on it.
Yeah, I feel ya.
So
if anybody out there is listening and you know anything about publishing, drop Nick a line, would you?
You don't think I'm just going to call Remzo and have him put me in contact
That's
with
true.
somebody?
Remzo is the man. It's true.
You don't think I could get a hold of Tom Woods and say, hey, I want to release a book and I need to have somebody help guide us on this? You don't think that I know people, Liz?
I think you know people. I just think different people might be listening to the show. That's all.
Oh, you think so?
So I thought maybe if I asked nicely,
you think Luke's bringing those people from his audience?
I'm sure.
You think
Luke's
he's big in the publishing
awesome.
world? Luke, are you big in the publishing world?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
Jeez.
So, how do you feel about the task of creating a video game? Since we're talking about how you feel about things, how has it been daunting? Has it been easier or harder than you thought it would be? Kind of on par?
Well, having taken a stab at it before, I feel a lot better about it the second time. Mm-hmm. This is an extraordinarily narrowly focused game, right? The previous attempt at making a game was lots and lots of options and branching pathways and all this. And that, even if we had not broken up the team, I think it probably never would have been released. So this, I'm just trying to stay hyper vigilant about keeping the scope of the game small so that we have a product that gets released. And, first of all, because we're crowdfunding, because you don't want to miss deadlines and have people upset because you're not ever able to release what you have promised. But secondly, because the faster we can get a product out there, the faster we can get some kind of return on the investment, and it won't just be a cash flow negative thing for the rest of our lives. So
are you looking at is it going to be like a freemium game? What's the deal?
Yeah. So of course, this can still change slightly before we get to the finish line. But right now we are, I'm definitely committed to having no mandatory ads. So it's never going to be like oh, you lost all your hit points. Watch this ad to not die kind of a thing. So I think we'll have maybe every 8 or 12 hours the ability to watch an ad to get a multiplier on how much money you're making with the game.
Yeah.
And then, so that's pretty unobtrusive and it's not required, but you can do it. And then we want to have some more, like you say, freemium type options. Like you could maybe spend $1 or $2 to remove ads forever and always have that bonus. Or you could have, some different mechanisms like that. But my main stance, and the video, at the top of the Indiegogo page kind of goes into this, but our main position is that there are companies out there, and not just a handful, but a ton of them, that are marketing these freemium games. And it's like, okay, you're on the App Store or whatever, you're looking at games. Oh, this says free. You install it and you play for a little while. It's kind of fun. And then it's like, okay, well, if you want to do this, you need some crystals. And crystals are now available for the low price of $76. And it's like, oh, okay. It's not so free, and you have to just grind and grind and grind if you don't want to pay for a small amount of crystals, right? So I think that's pretty irresponsible when it comes to this sort of thing. Like they're purely supported by people who have thousands of extra dollars a month to spend on these things, and people who just casually
we're
are
capitalists, Luke. That's their way of saying you are not the target audience for that game. That's all.
Yeah, but that's how all of them are, right? So we're just aiming at a different segment.
Yeah, you're aiming at the people that don't want to pay that game. And you know what? That's probably good because that means they're poor. And hopefully, poor people learn some economics from this game and learn just how the government's screwing them over.
There you go.
That's the whole goal. Be subversive. Be in the culture. Do you feel like you're a culture warrior because of this, Mr. Culture of Peace?
I've never thought of that term with myself, but sure, why not? Yeah.
I mean, are you happy with where culture is in general?
No, definitely not.
Okay. I mean, you would be actively working to change that, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say we're pushing back against that mentality. There are a handful of cool games out there that aren't horrifically expensive, but sold as free. It's just not very many of them. So I think the more that can be in that space, the better. And we're also looking at that as an opportunity to, capture a little bit of market share from people that don't want to pay, $100.
Have you taken my advice and gone and got in contact with Jeremy from the Quartering yet?
I did send him an email. I went to his page.
Good. Even if you never hear anything back, I'm just glad you took the step. So many people don't even try.
Yeah, I mean, we have a press release. I've been sending it to every game news site I can find, big or small. So who knows? Like if Kotaku or somebody runs a story about us, then we'll probably meet our
Kotaku will definitely not run an ad about you guys.
Well, not an ad, but
No, I just mean they will if they do say anything about you, and hopefully, I should see. I know what I need to do. I just need to start emailing all these companies, talking about what racist you are.
Oh yeah, please do. That would be great.
What?
No, because it's the only way. It's the only thing that they would ever write about this.
Okay.
Right.
Because it's politically charged.
I see.
In all
So
video
the whole
game,
no publicity is bad publicity thing.
it's his only hope of them writing about it. I'll tell you that much.
I see.
No, they're all notoriously left wing, like straight up all communists.
Yeah, I mean Gawker Media as a whole. So, and that's a lot of websites.
Some of the shit that I've seen Kotaku put out is just absolutely insane. But
I know
it. Industry wide, it's just how they all are. I can't think of a single. I don't know that I can think of a single gaming news place that isn't pretty hard left.
Interesting.
If not straight commie.
So that's another niche somebody can jump into. Come on, market.
Right. So yeah, that's again, I think that it's something that could catch on if we get just some of the traction going with this. It's not even sort of biased, Nick is spot on. It's 100% like every game studio, every news outlet.
Literally, a guy just killed himself, and most of the stuff on it is, yeah, he was a piece of shit.
I see.
No remorse whatsoever.
Yeah. So who knows?
How do you feel about entering that type of arena? I mean, like, you've got to be going in there knowing that you're a target, like an actively capitalist, game maker. Like, you're going to be run out on rail, aren't you?
Well, I think he's trying to create his new space not in that arena, but
Yeah, I'd like to
making an
get
annex.
the side. Yeah, the annex, the side.
You think the capitalists aren't being appropriately, catered to in the market?
No, I don't. And, I think that really, really successful people are not spending a lot of their time playing phone games, but I do know that people will still play, 5 or 10 minutes of something. So it's, there's a little bit in some corners of the web where people are making some, more or less like either conservative or libertarian type games here and there. I don't know that any of them are released, but just whispers of that sort of thing. So it seems like maybe we have an opportunity to kind of ride a wave that's going counter to what's out there. And I thought too that this was the right time for this game because it's, we're going into the post Mueller report world and all that. So
then they bring it back out. Oh no, that's the Kavanaugh report they're bringing back out.
Right. Yeah, the Kavanaugh report. But there's been people that have been upset by those things, and it's like, okay, so we spent all of this time, and of course, you and I both listen to Part of the Problem, so my view is a little slightly biased, but you spend all this time going after this stuff, and then it turns out to be a nothing burger, and there's some remnant of that kind of frustration that I think could channel into our game. So who knows, man?
Right on. Well, obviously you've got a heart out. I need to wake up. What did we not cover that you wanted to talk about today?
Well, Liz mentioned the kind of some games, and that made me think of my son. He's been playing old games as well. It's so funny. Like, we have a Nintendo Switch, and we have a Steam account. I have a Steam account with tons and tons and tons of games on it on the PC. And his favorite stuff is to play like the original NES sports games. Like, back before you needed modifiers in front of the title, like the game is called tennis, or the game is called soccer.
Nice.
And it's
Bullshit.
not Madden.
They reached peak game with Mutant League.
Oh, jeez.
Look, it's not a game unless I'm watching a blood-trailed severed head fly across the hockey rink.
I remember that. That's crazy.
Or people get blown up as they run the ball downfield. That is how sports games are supposed to be.
Did you ever play Smash TV? You know what that is?
No, it sounds like something I'd laugh at. Okay,
so Smash TV it's like a gladiatorial. I think it's set in the 1990s, right? It came out in the mid 80s.
I have smashed a TV on somebody's head, but that was different.
Or no, maybe it's the year 2001. Anyway, it's some like absurdly already gone era, and it's a international smash hit TV show where contestants compete in an arena in live combat, and they're given all kinds of insane weapons to defend themselves and try to fight through these stages. And if you win, like as you're going, you kill enemies, and there's like little certificates for a new car and a new toaster and all this stuff. So it's like the Wheel of Fortune meets grotesque murder, and it's so funny. I mean, just look up Smash TV. I think it was one of the greatest things of all time.
That sounds insane and surreal.
Sounds like
I
Liz,
like it.
some Liz shit. Like where it's was this Japanese or?
No. It's so American. You'll know as soon as you.
Weird.
That's awesome.
Nice. So
very hard.
I know on my end the question I have to ask this because it's. Am I going to have to turn the music to the game off? Like, that's the first thing I will decide in a game is if I'm keeping music on or off.
So we're still kind of in the musical sketch phase of things. I really like what I've heard, and to me, like game soundtracks are just critical. You can't get that wrong, or it just doesn't work for me. Even if the game is awesome, if I have to mute your soundtrack, then I'm just not going to look at it the same way. So we've been going back and forth. I had a whole document of inspiration tracks and things, how I wanted the vibe of that to go. And something I didn't mention that I probably should is the top side of the game when you're interacting with the fast food restaurant will have a different soundtrack from the underground. So it'll seamlessly transition from above to under whenever you want to, as often as you want to.
So we're Mario Brothers in this shit.
I'm all about it.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
So it's gonna be pretty cool, but more to come on that. Just two main themes. We might have some additional music that comes in later because we have some kind of twists to the storyline planned. But they're going to be unique standalone tracks, and I'm planning to get this stuff out on like Spotify and all of that once we get it finished. One of the perks you can get is the soundtrack to the game whenever you crowdfund.
Is it going to be on vinyl?
If we overfund our game, we might look at something like that.
Nice. You heard him, folks.
It have to be way overfunded. Those things are expensive.
Yeah. Do you want to break down a couple of the perks? Give us a quick plug for the game and tell people where they can find it.
Sure. So for just $5, you can join as an upstanding citizen, which will get you your name in the credits. We want to, especially thank everyone that participates in the project, even at the $5 level. But then from that stage, you can get all kinds of cool stuff. You can get an art book. You can get the soundtrack. You can get a multiplier in the game forever. So it'll make you progress through the story and all that a little faster. And anything $15 and above will get you into our private Facebook group where we're actually developing the game. So you can go back and see all of our discussions about, how this character should be, how the soundtrack should sound, what should this menu look like? Is this a cool background for this environment? All this different stuff. So we want to give people really unprecedented access to the process of the game development, partially because we want your feedback and partially because that's something that I haven't really seen a lot of in the past. And I just think that'd be really, really cool. Like if I was funding some other game, if this wasn't my own game, then that's what I would want, is to see how they're developing the game and what's going into it.
And have you been through that process before yourself? Have you funded an indie game?
Yeah. One of my favorite games is called Divinity Original Sin. And they had a really, really successful crowdfunding campaign. They, did the name in the credits. So some of this is inspired by them, but that game is just awesome and huge. And, they're an experienced studio, though. They've been making games since the 90s. Mm-hmm. So, we couldn't quite capture the existing name recognition or the nostalgia or any of that they have. So we had to be a little bit more humble with our budget.
All right. Well, where should we be sending people? Because I just noticed I have another interview I'm supposed to be doing this morning.
So it's dummycorporationgame.com/crowdfunding. That's the short link to get there. Indiegogo will let you find it just if you search for Dummy Corporation on their site, but their short links are very hard to kind of say on an audio format. So I just made that short link, dummycorporationgame.com/crowdfunding. You can also go to just dummycorporationgame.com.
Look, do I need to buy you a URL?
A shorter URL?
Yes.
No, I'm good.
Like you don't want
I got this, bro.
You don't want makedummycorporation.com?
I don't. Nah, not at this point.
It's like you missed the boat.
I don't know. I will forever bitch about the links that people give me on this show. I had a guy try and give me a Facebook link the other day. I'm like, you're a podcaster. It's $12 for an expensive one. It's like I got support SLL. So you go. You want to give me money? Support SLL. There you go. Man, You people think you're listening to Tom Woods, and I just feel like you're not really listening to Tom Woods.
Well, hey man, at least I've got a URL and there's a website set up. It's
There
not
you
only Indiegogo. It's not only a Facebook page.
Out of curiosity, are there links on that site to some of your other things that you do?
No, that's really like a sales funnel page. So it's all about just the game.
Okay. Do you want to give out your other links, or you just want to funnel them all right there today?
That's my big focus these days. But, I've got the Culture of Peace podcast. That's over at LukeTatum.com. And those are my two big things. So if you like the sound of my lovely voice, you can get on over to that show and hear it all the time.
Yay!
So, well, right on, Luke. Thank you so much for coming on today, boss. It has been a lot of fun, and I really can't wait till this game is. Perhaps it will take away all my Pocket Morty's time, and I'll just spend it on your game. Okay,
that's my new goal. So
Nice.
I'm going to be honest. It's going to be a knockout, dragged out fight to get me away from Pocket Morty's. I love the game because I don't have to spend a penny on it. I can just grind forever if I feel like it. Like, I beat the game, but like now it's just I want to collect them all so like I can keep playing. And then they started adding like these side questy kind of things later on. So it's got a lot of replay value. I beat it over a year ago. Still playing it.
I'll have to check it out, man. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thanks,
you have a good one there, Luke.
Hey, you too.
Solomon was broken, a legacy he'd leave. He cried out to God, won't you help them to believe? This power is illusion, the need to rule is greed. Your love and your light is really all they need. It's really all we need.
Wow. Just wow.
Yep.
I'm so glad we had Luke back on.
Me too. He's a cool dude.
It just makes me want to play more Pocket Mortys.
He makes me want to read that book he was talking about.
What book was he talking about?
Snow something.
Snowpiercer?
No, it wasn't Snowpiercer, but I should read that one too.
Fucking bunch of French anarchists. Commie anarchists.
Exciting.
I guess. So, but anyways, fantastic, fun time. I like fried chicken, and the game kind of centers around fried chicken.
This is true.
I kind of wish he would like make it a choky chicken though.
I'm not sure what that is.
Choky chicken. It's the chicken franchise from Rocco's Modern Life.
Oh, well, that just would require more, red tape.
Licensing and
Yeah.
But it'd be funny.
Maybe for the second edition of the game.
Maybe we can talk him into doing like a special skin. For the game. Like,
I mean, I'm sure if there's more, stuff that happens.
Go and send him money to make sure this game happens so that I can like commandeer him to do stupid things with it.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell's the point in knowing someone who like has a video game company if you can't whisper in their ear?
For sure. Yeah, just keep in mind you can find that on the Indiegogo, and I'm pretty sure he's got some stuff up on Facebook about it.
Yeah, he posts about it fairly regularly. And, Anyway, so would like to thank everybody out there who listens. Please send us messages of disappointment and shame.
We're really open to anything like you want to send us. It's cool.
Yeah, I like guidance. I mean, that's the only way I've managed to stay with Liz this long is because I take criticism, faster, harder, don't do that. My ability to listen has been, useful.
Yeah, so if you have ideas for the show, we will.
I'm not insinuating that I'm going to have sex with all of our guests.
I think
and,
they appreciate
listeners.
that.
But I mean, I'm throwing it on the table. If
Confusing suggestion that.
Why would it be confusing?
I don't know.
You don't think the guests want to have sex with me?
No. It's just not that type of show. That's all.
Says you.
Says I.
I'm over here talking like this every episode, Liz.
Have I missed it? Has there just been a low-key thing happening this whole time?
I can't help it, what my voice does.
Oh, okay. I see. I don't, baby.
Don't you say that so patronizingly.
No, you have a very nice voice. Anyways.
No, I don't. I have a whiskey voice. Whiskey and cigarettes.
No,
and
that's definitely not.
I don't even do whiskey and cigarettes.
Know what I got from your voice, but it's not whiskey and cigarettes. No, that's not. Nope.
Is that a Matt Berry thing?
Probably.
Don't you just feel like you want to...
Electric sex pants.
We need to get some electric sex pants.
Right. Or electric six pants. I'll take either one.
I'm going to be honest. I think they're the same thing when it's all said and done.
They probably are.
Danger. High voltage. When we touch, when we kiss. Go and listen to Danger High Voltage by Electric Six if you know what's good for you.
There you go.
Anyways, thank you so much for listening, folks. Go out, have yourselves a grand old day, and I don't know, do something anarchy related.
Right on. Thanks, guys.
Peace.